Water Paint album. Haven't heard that. And America Hackman album, which I also haven't heard. But yeah, he did produce Tom York's Suspiria remake, which a lot of people seem to really enjoy, which I actually haven't heard yet. I'm liking his production so far. It definitely is different enough from Nigel Godrich's that it has a very unique element to it, but it still feels very much like a The Smiles slash Radiohead style of, I guess, sound, which again, I really like. It's nice to have something a little different. Like, it still feels like the same level of quality production that, like, Nigel Godrich provides. Yeah, great string arrangement on this one. Yeah. I still like that song just as much. Hello? You gonna pause? There we go. Still like that song just as much as when I first heard it. I think that the atmosphere that track builds is probably the strongest thing about it, as it's very, like, it paints such a vivid picture of what it wants you to see when listening to the song, I guess, and it does a great job at it. Honestly, I think just the sound of that is incredible. How do I not get slapped with copyright? I pause and talk. Lots of reactors make the mistake of, like, not talking, saying like two words at the end of a song, and then continuing and not talking again. That's not how you're supposed to do it. You need to stop and give thoughts and stuff like that. And I do get slapped with copyright. That's why I have to edit these down. Yeah, that's a very strong intro to this album. It does a great job of setting its tone. It does. It sounds fantastic in terms of, like, the production with this new producer and the very interesting atmospherics of the track, like the little subtle string arrangements that Johnny Greenwood has put in there, and like the little electric guitars towards the end. It does a great job of building at the end as well. Yeah, that's a really nice way of starting this album. I'll give it like a flat 9. I really like that song. I love it. All right, next track, a song I haven't heard, Teleharmonic. There's no lyrics, I gotta get Genius up. Man, is there not a dark mode on Genius? Why is it so bright? Yeah, I'm loving the much more, like, roomy sound of this album. The previous album, A Light for Attracting Attention, was much tighter and felt much more like a Radiohead album in terms of production. But this one, from like the singles and even this song, it's definitely much more roomy and uses space a lot differently than the previous one does, which I find very interesting. I'm liking that this is a more electronic track as well. The first song was like an acoustic guitar, reminded me a little bit of Present Tense off of A Moon-Shaped Pool, with its very, like, pop-centric sound. Well, not like full-on pop, but like it's sort of like an acoustic pop sound to it. This one definitely feels much more like a Tom York solo track in terms of its electronics. Hmm. That was a great chorus. That sounded like completely different to, like, anything like Tom York has done before on, like, Radiohead and even his solo stuff. That was such a like strange, very unique chorus. That was great. Amazing bass line on this one. Huh. So he's referencing Jesus's crucifixion here, which is interesting. Huh. Religious reference. Let me read through these lyrics real quick. See if there's, like, any religious meaning behind this. I'm looking through. It doesn't seem to be very religion based in the lyrics here. Huh. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not really like understanding much of the lyrics on like a first listen here, but it's alright. Oh. Yeah, the recording of this is amazing. This producer is doing a great job. You know, one of my biggest complaints about A Light for Attracting Attention is that it just felt like Radiohead light, like a lot of these Radiohead side projects have. Tom York's solo stuff feels a lot like Radiohead, and the first Smile album just felt like Radiohead. Atoms for Peace was a lot different, but still had a lot of Radiohead elements. This is actually doing something completely different. I'm seeing little aspects of like a moon-shaped pool and even a little bit of In Rainbows on here, but it doesn't just feel like we're doing Radiohead 2. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like its own completely separate thing, which is why, as of right now, I'm preferring this to A Light for Attracting Attention a lot. Like, it's embracing a lot of like pop elements, surprisingly. Like, these drums sound like they're ripped straight from a pop track, which is surprising and very cool. This is like very, very strong right now. It's taking A Light for Attracting Attention. It's looking at the reception of that album and lots of people just calling it Radiohead Light. And they are actually taking this project in a very unique and different direction that doesn't just feel like Radiohead side project with two Radiohead members. It's actually something new and refreshing, completely different than like anything that we've seen Tom York really work on before. While still incorporating certain elements from, again, A Moon-Shaped Pool and In Rainbows that elevate it. And I think the reason for that is because it's a new producer. Like, it's still at the same level of quality as Nigel Godrich's production, but it's, like, still stylistically very different. It's much more roomy, and it's using space as its main tool, which, in all of the songs I've heard from this album so far, the 3 singles and this one, is working very well in its favor. I would give that song... I'll give that song like a 9.2. I think I honestly like that song a little bit more than the title track. That was really great. Alright. Next track, Read the Room. This intro's okay. It's just not really as strong as the previous two started off, where the previous two instantly built the environments they wanted you to sit in. This one sort of feels just a little scattershot and isn't really pulling me in quite as much as the previous two did, though the production is still fantastic and it's absolutely carrying. Oh, you can't hear me. Oh, there we go, you can hear me. Good. Hold on a sec. Oh, you can't hear me. Oh, there we go, you can hear me now. Okie dokie, how's it going? Anwar Spahia, welcome. I always forget how to say your name. Welcome. Today, as you can see from the title, we are doing Metallica's Black Album. Let me get the stream up on here so that I can read the chat. Here we go. Get that up. Mute it. Actually, I'll quickly let the Discord know that we are live. sec. I'll just put it in gauges thingy as well. I might as well put it in grockies too. Alright, cool. This is my first time recording with this new camera angle here. You can see how messy it is up there on top of my thing. Move it this way. No, move it this way a little bit. So I'm better. No, that's not really better centered. Nah, that'll be alright. Alright, cool. Bring this over here. Get the notepad up. Yep, we're doing it. We're doing it. We are. We're doing the Black Album. Real quick, I listened to this Swans album earlier here. My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky. Lots of people don't really mess with that one as much. I thought it was actually pretty good. I gave it an 88 on Album of the Year, I think. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. But I know lots of people don't really like it that much. I've got the notepad up for the scores. Let me get the album up. An hour long. An hour of material. Damn. Yeah, this album is massive, dude. It has Enter Sandman and Nothing Else Matters on it, which is wild. Also loads of like other big songs, Sad But True, The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam. Yeah, there's tons of huge songs on this album. It is outrageous. Alright, I'm just gonna make sure everything's good, and then I'm gonna start recording. Actually, I need to mute this real quick. Mute that. Alright, cool. I can now start recording. You listen to this album on full blast one time, and then I'm home to college, and you got a massive headache in a good way. Damn. Right. Hitting record now. Right, we are back. We are back again with another reaction. Today, we are doing Metallica's 1991 self-titled album, better known as the Black Album. This is by far Metallica's biggest album, with songs like Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Nothing Else Matters, like tons of absolutely huge songs. Some of the biggest metal songs of all time land on this album, and I haven't heard it yet. I of course heard a couple songs on the album, like again Enter Sandman, Sad But True, and Nothing Else Matters, but I have never actually listened to this full project. I have heard a couple of Metallica albums. I have heard Ride the Lightning, I have heard Master of Puppets, and I heard their new album, 72 Seasons. Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets are great. I thought their new album was fine. So I'm very interested to get into this one and see how it compares to those albums, because this one seems to be one that people either really love or they don't really like it, because this album, I guess, marked Metallica's transition out of thrash music more into, I guess, just a more straightforward metal style, and it was sort of the transition point into an era which fans don't really enjoy as much, where you get albums like, let me see here, what albums came out around this time? 'Cause this one came out right after Master of Puppets. Then it... Oh, wait, no. It was Master of Puppets. Then it was Injustice for All. And then it was this album, right? Oh, no, you had... Wait. Huh? Wait, what came out first? Wait, let me look at this. Okay, it was Injustice for All, and then it was this album. Okay. Yeah, and then after that you had, like... You had Load and Reload, which people... I know fans don't really care for. Garage Inc. And after that you had Saint Anger, which is, yeah, that one... That album is... I've not heard the full album, but I've heard plenty of songs off of the album, and it is rough. That album is rough. Yeah. So this definitely marked the final album, the final like fan favorite album before things started to go downhill, I guess. It's more songs rather than longer songs, like on Master of Puppets. Yeah. Like the songs on here, they're still decently long, but there's no like super long songs like the title track on Master of Puppets, which is like 8 minutes. The longest song on this album is like, what, like 6.5 minutes? Yeah. So it's more focused on having a longer track list than longer track lengths. I think I am just gonna get straight into this album, honestly. This thing came out in 1991. It is 12 songs, an hour and 2 minutes. Yeah, it's a long-ass album, so I am just gonna get straight into it. Track 1, a song I have already heard, a song you have already heard. One of, if not the biggest metal song of all time. Track 1, Enter Sandman. Incredibly recorded drums. I don't remember where I saw it, but I remember seeing something where, like, apparently in the studio that they were recording in, like, for this specific song, I think, they had, like, the roof of the studio raised by, like, what was it, like, 40 feet or something? They had the roof of the studio raised to, like, a ridiculous height so that they could get a better sound on, I'm pretty sure, the drums. And it was definitely worth it. These toms sound absolutely incredible at the start here. They are so good. Iconic riff. Oh wait, they got lyrics on Spotify now, I just realized. Whenever I like would listen to this song, they never had the lyrics on Spotify, and now they finally do, thank God. Yeah, instantly the best thing about this album is the recording of this. It's just absolutely incredible. The sound of this is amazing. Again, the drums in particular are just they are recorded perfectly. It's so good. That halftime is so good. Really solid guitar solo on this song, honestly. It's not as, like, incredible as, like, a lot of the solos on Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, but it's still really good. I love that fake out outro there. Yeah, just keep in mind James says that a lot on this album. He says that a lot on, like, most Metallica albums, doesn't he? He will just exclaim, yeah. Listen, that is one of, if not the biggest metal song of all time. It is absolutely iconic. Everyone knows it. It has been played everywhere. It's in, like, every film ever. This song is absolutely iconic. And I think it lives up to it. I genuinely think that this is an absolutely perfect way to start this album off. The recording of this is fantastic. The pacing is immaculate. I like the switch in tone from the all-out thrash that was, like, present on their previous albums to a new, different style of metal, one that's a lot more slower and I don't want to say intense, because their old stuff is still intense, but it's definitely a lot slower. And I think that, honestly, this is like just the best way this album could start off. It is genuinely the best way this album could start off. The lyrics are so interesting, like talking about nightmares and stuff, and he's like meant to be Mr. Sandman, coming and like giving you like dreams in your sleep or whatever. Just the concept of this track itself is very interesting, especially when Metallica are doing it, and they tend to make songs on similar topics like this a lot. So it's executed very well in that regard as well. All in all, this song, it's like damn near perfect. It's so close to perfect. It's like a 9.8. It's so good. I have heard it plenty of times before. I learned this song for my drum lessons once. Like, I've heard this song so many times, and it still is just as impactful and as re-listenable now as the first time I had ever heard it. So, yeah, great opener. I'm just excited to get into the rest of this. Next track, another song I have already heard, Sad But True. I'm pretty sure I've heard this at least. Oh yeah, this is the song that Avenged Sevenfold ripped off. Hold on a sec. This is the song that Avenged Sevenfold, they like completely ripped this song off, didn't they? What song is it? What song is it? Is it Hail to the King? It's not this one. Which song is it? The Nightmare? No, Afterlife? Which song is it? They like completely rip off this song. This Means War, that's it. Skip ahead a bit. Blatant ripoff, just straight up completely stolen. It's the like practically the same. There is minor difference. I can't stand Avenged Sevenfold, I'm not gonna lie. That stuff kind of ass. It's the exact same. It's the exact same. Yeah, the thing that makes this so much better than when Avenged Sevenfold do this is that the band are much more like locked in and they are much tighter. The production is much more interesting. The recording is incredible, and James Hetfield is miles better of a vocalist than the guy from Avenged Sevenfold. Like, listening to the two songs, they're practically the same song, but the level of quality is like completely different. Oh my god, dude. You know, I've never listened to this song with a good pair of headphones. I've only ever heard this song on like cheap earbuds and through like really bad speakers. Listening to this song with like an actual decent pair of headphones, it's amazing. Just I know I've already spoken about it so much, but the recording of this is absolutely incredible. Like, I would put this on the same level as the sound of like Master of Puppets, honestly. It's so good. Thought I had something. Oh my god, dude. You know, lots of people, they like to, you know, make fun of Lars Ulrich because of his because his drumming's like kind of mid and it's super basic for like metal music and stuff. I think he has really creative fills. Like, the fills on this song have been, like, really cool so far. And even a lot of the stuff on, Enter Sandman, there's a bit where he's, like, still keeping the eighth notes on the hi-hats, but he's, like, going around on the toms while he's doing it. It's stuff like that that makes me actually genuinely appreciate his drumming. Like, as a drummer, he has, like, lots of cool parts, and while they are very simple, they like serve the songs perfectly, and he's still able to incorporate lots of cool elements into these songs. So like that's so cool. Nice. That song, like, I do have one problem with it, and it's that it's a little long. It definitely could have been shortened by maybe about a minute or two. Not a minute or two, probably by exactly a minute, like around there. 5.5 minutes just felt a little too long for that track. But besides that, this song is absolutely incredible. I have of course heard it before, but listening again with a decent pair of headphones, it like makes me appreciate it so much more. The the freaking recording of this again, I know it's all I've been talking about, but it's so good. It like the sound of this is on par with the sound of like Master of Puppets, dude. It's so amazing. It's so filled out. I love the recording of this. Yeah, this song again, it's so iconic to the point where Avenged Sevenfold felt the need to do their own terrible version of it. You know what I'm saying? That's how good this song is. Like everything about this just comes together absolutely perfectly. All of the like the slow, intense build of the song, the way it just, I guess, is meant to be more menacing than it is, I guess. Where a lot of Metallica's older stuff is just meant to be like headbangy, insane, like absolutely wild, I guess, metal. This is meant to be more menacing and intense and something much more emotion based, which I find to be a really interesting direction to take their sound, and it's working really well here, honestly. I think this is absolutely incredible. I'll give this song a 9.5. Yeah, the much slower approach on this album so far has been really interesting. With the I can't speak. With the album's hour-long runtime, it might get boring. That is the one thing I'm worried about. But as of right now, it's not boring in the slightest. I think it's working absolutely perfectly. Right, up next, another song I've already heard. I've had this one sent in on stream before. Next up, Holier Than Thou. Crocky's already got the lyrics ready to be recited in the chat. See, I was talking about it being slower paced. This one's starting on 10. Like... Is that how that saying goes? It's starting on 10? I don't know. Getting a more energetic song is actually really nice. I think this is a great change of pace after the first two songs being much... well, Enter Sandman, it has its energetic moments, but for the most part, those first two songs are like definitely much slower than you're used to with Metallica. And then getting one that's more thrashy and more in your face here is like really nice. I could have sworn Obi was in my room. I don't know where he's gone. God, that riff, Jesus Christ. This guitar solo sounds so much like the one on Enter Sandman. That sounds like so similar to the one on Enter Sandman. Oh Jesus, that bass tone. That bass tone is incredible. Yes, the bass is indeed fantastic there. Nice. Yeah, I've already heard that song before. I've been sent it in on streams, but sent it in on streams on stream. Returning to it, it's still great. I like the way it's a more fast-paced song than the previous two. I like that it's more in your face and just, I guess, very similar to something that would have landed on one of their earlier albums, except it... How do I put this? It also fits in context with this album, I guess. It sounds sonically consistent with the rest of the songs on here. Yeah. That song is just another absolutely great example of why Metallica are hands down my favorite band from like the thrash era, because their ability to... How do I put this? Their ability to go back and forth between the fast and the slow is so incredible. The writing is amazing. James Hetfield is probably the best vocalist out of like the thrash era as well. Like everything about this just comes together perfectly. I have like no complaints about that song. I feel another 9.8. It is so good. Yeah, I don't really get why like certain people don't really mess with this album. I feel like this is a really interesting change of pace for the band. Who knows, maybe this album like completely falls off towards the end and that's why. But in these first three songs, this is like very intriguing and very enjoyable. And it's setting a good example for the rest of the album right now. So I'm very excited to get into the rest of it. Next track, we have The Unforgiven, which I think I've heard. It has like almost 500 million streams. I'm fairly certain I've heard this song. It's entirely possible that I haven't. Slower songs now? Alright. I don't think I've heard this song before, I'm not gonna lie. This is... I did not expect this, like a song like this on this album. It's so much more stripped back and so much more restrained than I was expecting. But I think that is what's kind of working about it. It's much more focused on the lyrics here than it is just the intense, heavy sound. And I think that is really, really intriguing. It's so different to anything I would expect. Stripping it even further back for the chorus there is honestly really cool. Like, instead of going for a massive chorus, it like doubles down on its rawness. Okay. Acoustic guitar. Huh. How's it going, Gage? An acoustic guitar is the last thing I would expect to hear on a Metallica album. Fade out, really? You really didn't need to end this with a fade out, come on. Regardless of how mid that fade out is, that song Went hard. I'm not gonna lie. I like that it's more stripped back. It's even slower than the previous songs on the album so far. But I think that I think it works like really really well. Having a song that's more lyric focused, that is much more stripped back, that's much more soft. That like there's an acoustic guitar in this song. I would never expect that from a Metallica song. It works really well. Like it doesn't feel tonally inconsistent with the rest of the album. It doesn't feel out of place in the slightest. It feels like a logical continuation of like the sound of this album. It is a little long, like 6.5 minutes. It could have been shortened. Um, what was I gonna say? I forgot what the other thing I was gonna say was. It's a little long. Oh yeah, the fade out. It was a little long, and the fade out kind of sucked. But besides that, this song works for me very well. I think it's still great. I'd give this one like a flat 9. I just really think it should not have been that long. Like that song needed to be shortened. Anyway, up next we have Wherever I May Roam. I am certain I haven't heard this song. Audio glitching. Is it? Why is the audio glitching? Hold on a sec. Let me keep playing it a sec. Why does it sound like that? One moment, one moment. You close Spotify, and I'll reopen it. There we go. It's working now. Cool. Okay. Wasn't expecting the double time there. Okay. That slower section there, like that first verse, I kind of wasn't crazy on it. I felt like coming after that really intense double time, it just suddenly stopping and then going into that slower verse, it didn't really feel like it worked very well. Like coming after that, at least. I feel like if we weren't shown the faster bit, if it just stayed at that same speed all the way through the first verse, and then as it goes into the chorus here, it goes into the double time, I think that'll be better. Like, yeah, this double time. Yeah, after it gets to that first chorus, the song just picks the hell up. Like, that first verse, genuinely, I think if the halftime, the double time before it wasn't there, I think that first verse would work a lot better. But then once the first chorus comes in, it just completely picks up. This guitar solo's kind of mid, I'm not gonna lie. Switching back to the toms is cool though. What hour is it here? It is almost 6 o'clock. Another fade out? Why? Man. Why they gotta fade out? It's like the world's longest fade out too. Okay. That was probably my least favorite song so far. For two main reasons. Reason number one, they messed up the pacing in the beginning. Had you not like had the double time bit in the beginning, had it just stayed at the same tempo in the beginning through the first verse, just remove that halftime bit, go through the first verse, and then have the double time come in at the chorus, that would have made it so much more so much more exciting and impactful when you got into the chorus, and B, it wouldn't have completely butchered the flow at the track at the very beginning. And that also ties into my second big complaint, is that this song is also too long. That has been my biggest complaint about most of the songs so far, is that they are just too long and they feel like they could be tightened up. Like, especially when you have like that unnecessary double time moment in the beginning that could have been cut out, it makes it feel even more like this one could be shortened by maybe even 2 minutes. Honestly, like 6 minutes and 44, that is a long ass track length, and I feel like it just could have been tightened up, honestly. But that song, outside of those two things, is still really great. Maybe my favorite chorus on the album so far. That was absolutely insane. The outro was incredible, besides the fade out. Like, the whole outro section was absolutely amazing. The writing on this is like one of my favorite in terms of lyrical content. It's like, there's just so many interesting lines in here that stick out, and one of the ones that caught my attention the most while I was listening. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, where I lay my head is home. That's the line that really ties the whole song together for me. Yeah, there's just loads of standout lines and interesting little statements throughout this track. Yeah. That song's solid, but it's my least favorite so far. I'm feeling an 8.5 on that one. Alright, next song, track 6, definitely the last song of part 1, because I'm definitely going to make this a two-parter, because I've already been going for 50 minutes. Next song, Don't Tread on Me. Okay. Those stabs are really cool. is the one so far that feels the most like a Master of Puppets song. Yeah, definitely. This one has reminded me a lot of Master of Puppets. Like, in a good way. It doesn't just feel like they're redoing something. It feels like on the same level of quality as that album. Okay. That is the song I've had the least to say about so far. But it's not really for any, like, bad reasons. That is definitely the song that feels most like it could have fit right in on, like, Master of Puppets. I need to learn how to speak, and it doesn't feel like they're just rehashing that album on this song, though. It feels consistent with this album. It feels like it fits in here, but it also feels like it could have fit right in on Master of Puppets. This one is like the most difficult to speak about because it just feels like just a generic Metallica song, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means I don't really have too much to say about it. I think it's very well paced. It's like only 4 minutes. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's got a really great riff. James Hetfield is great as always. This is a solid track, just not one I have much to say about. Give this one like a flat 9, I think. It's still on like that Metallica level of quality, but I just don't really. It's just not really the most unique song on the album, I guess. Alright, I'm gonna quickly do my outro for part 1. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm gonna get more tea, and then we will get started with part 2. And that is going to do it for part 1 of the Black Album. I was a little nervous going into this thing. Like, from what I heard, this was the beginning of the downfall of this band. And there are some Metallica fans that don't really like this one. But, honestly, the first half of this album, I think, is, like, super solid. Like, there's not been a bad song so far. Every single song has been memorable and super enjoyable. The pacing, it is a little slow, but besides that, I feel like this thing is like just as notable and just as memorable as something like Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the first half of this album. Let me know what you think of the first half of the. Let me know what you think of the first half. Oh my god, I can't speak. Let me know what you think of the first half of this album down below in the comments. Let me know what other albums you want me to listen to in the future. Make sure you smash like and sub. Our goal is 1,000 subs, hopefully by September. You can join the Discord if you want to interact with the community and speak to me on there. You can talk about like music and movies and stuff on there. And yeah, I will see you all in part 2. Goodbye. God, recording part 1 took me an hour. That was 57 minutes of recording right there. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna get some tea real quick, and I will be right back, and we will be filming part 2. Be right back. we're back. I got a cup of tea. Check real quick, I've been added. I'm guessing Gage has posted something. Europe. Oh, Gage is live. Probably chilling Gage's stream when I'm done. Oh my god. Yes, I have a cup of tea right here. Right. Just gonna get right back into it. One sec, let me get my phone out. You don't like tea? That's an L, bro. Tea is the best. Right. Recording. And we are back with part 2 of the Black Album. Where we left off in part 1, we listened to Don't Tread on Me, and I am just going to get straight back into it. Next track, Through the Never. What is going on with my hair? Why is it so messy? Minecraft song? Yeah, Through the Nether. Yeah, the previous, this song and the song before it, both are, like, much more energetic. The album sort of has been fairly slow up to this point, except for on, like, Holier Than Thou, which had its, like, more energetic moments. These previous two songs are definitely, like, way more energetic, and I'm liking that it's picking up a little bit, because I feel like if it was slower songs the entire way through, it wouldn't work, like, nearly as well. Very interesting lyrical content here. Let me quickly look back at this. All there is, was, and will be. Universe much too big to see. Time and space never ending. Okay. So the song seems to be an expression of existentialism, I guess, at the scope of the universe, and that the Earth and our galaxy as a whole is just sort of drifting through the never, through the infinite nothingness, I guess. Cool. Ooh. Nice. The recording of this, like with the toms and the bass, like all of the low end, it makes it like everything is so rumbly and so much more intense on the low end. It's so cool. I look like I'm gonna cry. Max, I'm not gonna cry. This song is going hard right now. It's probably because I'm tired. And also this light is very reflective. I got two bright lights shining right into my eyes right now. Nice. Yeah. I like that the album's like picking up a little bit here. The slower paced songs were like really cool, and it was nice to see Metallica stripping back and doing something like a lot slower. But if it was a full album of it, I feel like it would have gotten boring. So having these quicker moments, having these more intense, fast-paced tracks that again remind me of like Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning, maybe not as intense and fast-paced as those albums, but definitely a lot closer to them. Having these moments is absolutely necessary to make this album not feel boring and sluggish. So B is also watching and she's singing the song. Hey, that's a W. This song goes hard. Yeah, again, I'm just loving the, I guess, change of pace of this album. And I think that song goes hard as hell. I would give that one a 9.6. How's it going, B? B is in the chat. Yeah, 9.6. That one's great. One of my favorites so far. Right. Up next, track 8. Another one of the biggest songs from the band, and one of the biggest metal songs ever. Up next, Nothing Else Matters. Ride the Lightning reaction when? If I ever... yeah, exactly, pay me for it. I've already heard the album. I think it's great. I prefer Master of Puppets, but Ride the Lightning is great. But you can pay me to listen to it. £1 a minute, and it's like an hour-long album. So, you can pay me £60 to listen to it. How long is it? Oh, 47 minutes. £47 to get me to listen to that album. You prefer Fade to Black as a sad Metallica song to this one? Which album's Fade to Black on? Is that on... Oh, that one is on Ride the Lightning, yeah. I've not heard this song in forever. I forget the majority of it. Max, that emo is absolutely outrageous. Can't wait to get custom emotes. I already know, Frunk is going to be one of the custom emotes. Now, Max and B know what picture I'm talking about. I'm talking about one where it's like the close-up of my face and my eyes are going like different directions. The one that used to be my my profile picture. That's going to be a custom emote. I've got to figure out what the rest are gonna be. Probably gonna have Dove Men Care as an emote for when I'm listening to like some loser music. Yeah, I have so many emotes I can make. Frank is gonna be an emote. Dove Men Care is gonna be an emote. What emotes have I on my server? We've got Funk, Me with Cheese, and Poggers. The Poggers is probably going to be an emote. Yeah, the cheese one's going to be an emote. Poggers is the where it's just my face cropped and I'm going. That one's going to be an emote. All of the emotes in my server are going to be emotes. How's it going? Neek Shrama, welcome. Yeah, I've obviously heard this song before. Like, this song is absolutely massive. It has over 1 billion streams, which I did not expect from this song, honestly. I didn't think it was this big. Returning to it, honestly, it's still just as great as I remember it being, even though I haven't heard the song in, like, forever. Yeah, I can't speak. I cannot speak. Coming after two much more fast-paced tracks that I guess mark the halfway point of the album, having a return to the much slower, much more emotional, well, not emotional, but much more tension-based side of the album that we saw throughout the first half is really nice, and I like that we're getting more of like the back and forth between the fast-paced and the slow-paced. Yeah, it's definitely the thing that's working best about the album is Metallica's ability to go back and forth between different energies and have it feel tonally consistent. That is this album's strong suit right now. $1.6 billion streams, does it? Enter Sandman has 1.2 billion streams, and then this one has 1 billion streams. Yeah, this... I thought Master of Puppets was their biggest song for a long time. Because I feel like Master of Puppets is a much more, like, iconic song than Enter Sandman is. Or, like, more recognizable, at least. So, yeah, for the longest time, I, like, thought it was their most streamed. This is one of the best, like, choruses on any Metallica song, I'm not gonna lie. The vocal layering is absolutely amazing. I completely forgot about this outro. I completely forgot this was here. This outro is a little long. That is like my only complaint about this track. I feel like this outro could have been shortened a little bit. Like, especially since it just goes into a fade out anyway. It definitely could have been shortened. But... oh, wait, is it transition? No, it doesn't. For the first time on this album, we have a 6.5-minute song that doesn't feel like it overstays its welcome, like, except for the outro being a little too long. I think that that song absolutely warrants its extreme, well, not extreme, but its longer runtime. It feels like that was the exact amount of time necessary to completely flesh the track out and make it feel complete. Whereas on lots of the earlier songs, it feels like they could have been shortened, or they could have had sections that could have been trimmed down. No, that one is like actually the perfect length. Legit, my only complaint about that song is that the outro just was a little too long and could have been shortened a little bit. Besides that, that song is like practically perfect. One of the best choruses on any Metallica song. I like that it's going back to the slower, more stripped back sound, and it's more like tension based. And like James Hetfield gives one of his like best vocal performances on that track. I am giving that song a 9.7, and I am bumping Enter Sandman's score up to a 10. Genuinely, I have zero complaints about Enter Sandman. I don't know why I gave it a 9.8. Looking back on it, it's a 10. Up next, track 9, we have Of Wolf and Man. Hello, song? There we go. Okay. Sounds like a Megadeth song? I don't know, I've not heard much Megadeth, but I can kind of see it. I should do a video on a Megadeth album. I've actually not heard a Megadeth album. God, that bass tone is absolutely disgusting. It's so good. That was a really cool fill. Yeah, Rest in Peace. If I did one, I'd do Rest in Peace. Also, how's it going? Aphelium, welcome. That's honestly one of my favorite choruses so far. Lars has used the double kick so sparingly on this album. It shocks me whenever it comes in. He has used it maybe 3 times. I'm not complaining, it's just taking me by surprise every time it comes in. That might be the best guitar solo so far, I'm not gonna lie. That went so hard. You've only heard this one once? This feels like one of the ones I'd return to most, I'm not gonna lie. Nice, great outro. Yeah, that song is probably one of the ones I would return to most on this album, honestly. One of the best guitar solos on the album. Actually, probably the best guitar solo on the album so far, in my opinion. That went stupid hard. That was disgusting. The the drumming on that track, Lars is actually using his double kick, which he has only used it like 2 or 3 times throughout this album, and I don't know why, because there's multiple opportunities where he could have used it. But it's nice to see him actually using it on that track. It adds some extra spice to the percussive elements of that song. Yeah, I. It's nice to get. It seems like we're probably going to be like in the back half here, bouncing back and forth. Like every track is going to be alternating between slower and longer, slower and faster song. Because I'm looking at the track lengths here. So we got 4:16, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes. So it's probably going to be going back and forth between fast paced and slow paced. Like more on this half than it was on the first half. Yeah, that song was solid as hell. I'd give that one a 9.5. Definitely one of the ones I would return to most on the album. Alright, down to the final 3. Track 10, The God That Failed. Amazing bass line to start off. The sound of this song is just basically reminding me of Sad But True. Like, I don't know, something about like the pacing of this track, the riff, even like the way James Hetfield is like, why can't, yeah, the way he's singing. I couldn't think of the word singing there for a sec. The way James Hetfield is singing here, it's just kind of reminded me of Sad But True here. Unlucky. The beginning of this song, I was just sort of like writing it off as it be feeling exactly like Sad But True. But as it's going on, the way it's progressing and like the switch ups that it's going through, this song is honestly kind of going hard right now. The instrumental on this track is one of my favorites of the whole album, particularly in this part where it's just like where it's just the instrumental section. Like this song is growing as it's going along, like a lot. Great outro too. That song, when it started off, I wasn't really feeling it. I was like, oh, this just sounds exactly like Sad But True. Oh, this song is like just like boring as hell right now. But as it went along, and as it progressed, and as it went through all of the different phases, and more layers were added onto the instrumental, it picked the hell up. Like that song, by the end of it, like the instrumental probably like by the end was one of my absolute favorites on this album. Again, the intro is very difficult to get into, and that's probably the only thing that would make me not return to this song as much. But outside of that, this song is like still amazing. It's difficult to score because, like, again, getting into this track is very difficult. But I still probably would return to this a decent amount. So I think I'll give this one like an 8.8 for now. It has potential to grow, but like just for now, it's just one of my personal least favorites. Even though it did like seriously pick up going into the back half. Alright, next track, My Friend of Misery, which is the longest song on the album. It's a Tool song. We're listening to a Tool song right now. Alright. That is such a Tool bass line. Lars Ulrich really likes hitting like the crashes on the upbeats on this album. I've noticed that like I thought that was just on Enter Sandman, but he does it like all throughout this album. He like always hits it on the upbeat for some reason. I don't know why. It sounds cool, but it's very random. I'm not gonna lie, this one is the toughest to get into so far. The intro is like really cool with that bass line that sounds exactly like it's ripped out of a Tool song. Yeah, the intro is really great, but as you move further into the track, I feel like this one's just kind of losing me a little bit. It's the first song on this album that's like that. It's I don't know, this one just isn't anywhere near as exciting or engaging as any of the previous tracks, and it just sort of feels like we're rehashing a lot of the stuff we've already done. I don't know, it's not bad, but it definitely just feels like I could get this same thing on a different track, just done better. It sounds exactly like a Tool song. I know this came out before, like, Tool were making music. Were they making music in 91? Undertow came out in 1993. But this, you can tell how Justin Chancellor was inspired by, the bass, I forget the bassist's name, I'm really sorry. Because this sounds exactly like a Tool song. Yeah, there's some really cool, like, individual elements to this track. But for the most part, it does just definitely feel like we're redoing a lot of stuff we've already done. Okay, solid outro in this one, though. Loads of really interesting, lots of really interesting stuff going on with the toms all throughout this album. Like, Laz has been using the toms a lot more on this album than he would on, like, Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning. Yeah, that song was definitely my least favorite so far. It just sort of felt like we were doing the same thing again. Like stuff that's already been done before on the album. It's just the least unique, and it's the least memorable, I guess. There are individual elements of... Oh my god. There are individual elements of this song that are great. The bass line sounds fantastic. You can tell how it inspired, like, Justine Chancellor from Tool, because it does sound exactly like a bass line that would be on a Tool song. I feel like some of the drum parts on this track are really interesting, especially with the toms and the interesting stuff going on there. But outside of that, there wasn't really much that I connected with on this track. It was just okay. It was fine. Just wouldn't return to it because other songs have done what this song does, but just a little bit better. A little bit better. I would give this song... I'll give this song a 7.4. 7.3. Give this song a 7.3. It's still good. It's still, like, decent. It's just not one I would really return to all that much. I just wasn't crazy on it. Alright, we've made it. The final track. Next track, track 12, The Struggle Within. Oh, I just realized I still have my freaking thing pinned. My guitar solo is going wild right now. Whoa. Wow. And that was the Black Album. Firstly, that song went hard. I like that it ended on a more fast-paced track. I feel like it was a nice way of tying the album together, particularly after the much slower song that came before it. I feel like having another slow song to close it off would have just felt a little flat and a little boring of a way to end it off. But yeah, ending it off on a faster song definitely worked really well. Yeah, that song just went hard. Great guitar solo in that one. The riff, the main riff of that song was one of my favorites on the entire album. James Hetfield giving one of the best performance on the album. Maybe one of the best performances he's ever given on that one. I loved the vocals on that track. Yeah. It's not like the most it's not like the biggest statement to end the album off on. It's not like the most profound moment it could have ended off on. But it's still really solid, and I still found myself enjoying that track quite a bit. I think I give that one a flat 9. And that is it for the Black Album. Real quick, I am going to add up my scores and Right, real quick before I do my outro, I am going to add up my scores, and then I will tell you what my overall score for this album is. So we have 10 plus 9.5 plus 9.8, no, 9.8, plus 9, plus 8.5, plus 9, plus 9.6, plus 9.7, plus 9.5, plus 8.8, plus 7.3, plus 9, 12. Okay, sounds about right. I am feeling a 9.1 out of 10 on this album. I am so glad I finally checked this thing out. This thing is solid as hell. Yeah, I was very nervous going into it. I was like, oh god, this thing probably isn't going to be anywhere near as good as Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning was. This is going to be like the beginning of the end for Metallica. It's going to mark the downfall. But honestly, no. I think the switch in styles here, it's not even the most drastic switch in styles, but you can definitely tell that they're experimenting here. I think it works. It genuinely works very well, because I feel like if we just had another insane energetic thrash album, the sound would have got boring. But here they're bringing something new to the table. They're bringing something much slower and much more tension based and more menacing, and I think that is a great switch in tone. I think it I think this sound suits the band really well, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And it's good that they were experimenting here, and I think it paid off absolutely. Some pacing issues on this album. It definitely didn't need to be over an hour long. It could have been maybe 50 minutes. But still, regardless, it's absolutely great. There's tons of absolutely incredible standout tracks on this album, like Enter Sandman. and Sad But True and Nothing Else Matters and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have very few complaints about this album outside of the pacing issues. Yeah, this thing's great. Yeah, and that was the Black Album. Let me know what you think of this album down below in the comments. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why? Let me know what albums you want me to listen to in the future, if there's any more metal albums you want me to listen to, or just albums in any genre that you would like to see a reaction to. Check out the other videos on my channel. If you want some metal reactions, we have a video on Fear Inoculum by Tool and Toxicity by System of a Down. Make sure you check those out. Like and sub. Our new goal is 1,000 subs, hopefully by September. Check out the gaming channel if you want. I don't use it much, but it's there. I stream on there sometimes, playing some games. Join the Discord as well. We have a Discord server where you can interact with the community, and you can talk with me on there sometimes. Talk about like movies and music and stuff on there. So definitely make sure you head over there if you are interested. And yeah, I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Goodbye. Alright, chat. I don't even know if anyone's in the chat, but if anyone is in the chat, thank you for being here. This was a great recording. Honestly, this album goes hard. I am actually gonna write an album of the year review real quick. I want to put up an album of the year review on this album while I still have the scores next to me, so that I can have my scores written down. Let me jump on album of the year, Metallica, Black Album. Here we go. Oh, nope, wrong scene. There we go. How's it going, Nick Kelly? Welcome. I'm just we just finished the album. I'm just writing up an album of the year review here. Surely put that in brackets. Cool. Quickly do my track ratings as well. Let me get the notepad up. So, 100, 95, 98, 90, 85, and another 90, 96, 97, another 95, 88, 73, another 90. Those are the scores. Rate, post, cool. That is it for me today. We will be back tomorrow with a the viewer submission stream, as it is Wednesday tomorrow. Got anything else going on this week? I don't think I got anything else going on particularly exciting this week. Anyone in the stream, again, make sure you like and sub. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers by September, hopefully. Yeah, I'd recommend checking out the edited down version of this video when it's out if you weren't able to catch the full thing, because, you know, then it won't be a 2-hour watch. It will probably be condensed to 40 minutes across both parts, so yeah. Apart from that, I will see you guys tomorrow for the viewer submission stream. Goodbye.